This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Parker, Colorado. I'm here at Apple Remodeling. Since 1983, this local design-build contractor has been helping you love where you live. I'm here with Ted, who is the owner, founder. Thanks so much for joining us here, Ted. Let's start off a little bit about yourself. I mean, you began 1983, opening the doors, serving the public, but yet many years before that, you're a third-generation builder. It's probably safe to say that building runs in your blood. Share with me how your family got involved and how you got started in this industry.
My father came back from the service, and he joined my grandfather in a construction company, and eventually my father built it up to the point where he was doing big commercial projects and sometimes government projects. He built an entire Army base once. So he's retired now, but he did big stuff. I'm relatively small stuff compared to what he did, but that's the nature of commercial. And I've got 4 other brothers, and 3 of them are still in the construction industry as well.
So it was really a natural fit for you to continue on when it comes to building. I mean, I look around today, I see contractors out there across the city. A lot of general contractors. Everybody's saying they're the best. Some of them dabble in remodeling. Some of them are basically doing that on the side, maybe on the weekends or even during the summer. This is something that you have mastered, the remodeling. This is something you do 24/7, day in, day out, all year long. Is that something you pride yourself on, the fact that this is where your focus is?
Absolutely. And, we've done about 1,200 projects now. And a great variety of projects. Each project is individual. Each project and each client is unique. So there's a lot more variety than people might think. But it is interesting, and it's exciting to be a part of someone's remodel, because for a lot of my clients, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing if it's a big enough remodel. And, I find it extremely rewarding.
That is great. I mean, hundreds of projects out there, but like you said, you broke the 1,000 mark easily. 37 years you've been serving the public. Let me ask you this. You work with a professional team, a network of professionals that you oversee every single day, yet you personally feel it's important that you're the one that places that estimate down in front of the client and ensures that it's going to be delivered. Is that important for you?
It is, because as I learned after maybe the first 300 or 400 projects, this is not a sticks and bricks business. This is a relationship business. And, Walt Disney had some famous quote that, you can build the greatest thing in the world, but it's about the people, not the place. And so I learned a while back now that my clients, they want me to be involved. They want to talk to the owner directly. They want me to, I do the estimate, I do the designing, and then I am the overall project supervisor. And so it's important to me to be face-to-face with my client throughout the project and after the project.
You're a design, build, general contractor. Tell me a little bit, what happens initially, that first consultation with the client? What happens before you even start the design process? I imagine a lot of listening.
Absolutely. When people call us up and they say, we want to do a project, we talk to them over the phone. We will look up their house. We will listen to what they're talking about doing. We will try to get a feel for if we're a good fit or not, first of all. And once we establish that, there's a good chance that we are a good fit and we can serve them better than anybody else can, we'll make the appointment. We'll send them an email with information and ask them to go to our website and watch some videos so that they can kind of get up to speed on who we are if we haven't done work with them before. And that's all before we ever show up. I personally go out and I do the estimate, and it's a 1 to 2 hour visit the first time. Wow. And I want them to watch the video on my website before I ever get there, because at that point, I'm not explaining who Apple is. And I can then listen to them. I want them to walk me through their house, show me what they want done. And it's all about them. It's all about their project. And at that point, I'll try to give them good information too. If I'm able to give them a ballpark idea, a relatively accurate one, because people are seeking information. When they call me, there's not good information on the internet. They want to know about what does it cost, and I'll be honest with them. If I can tell them, I will, and if I can't, if it's too if it's too spread out, I'll just be honest and say I can't do that. Sometimes I can get back to my office and do it, but once I get to their house, it's all about them, and it's I certainly want to know how are you going to use the space that we're going to remodel. What are your priorities? And talk to me about all of the things on your wish list, but tell me which ones are most important. And I have to get a feel for who they are and what they want, and the scope of what we're probably going to do.
Yeah, that was a real big deal for us. When Ted came and sat down with us at our table and we kind of went over what the project was, he asked all the right questions. We obviously had some changes along the way, but that was all part of communication. And that was, we really wanted to make sure we could communicate with whoever our contractor was before we chose the person. And so, because you really are dealing with people. I mean, it's companies and all that, but it's just people. And we really enjoyed, just meeting Ted. And again, he just kind of clicked with us, and we just, and it was clear that he understood what we were looking for. So.
This design is the result of initially a couple hours, but really many, many hours over the entire project. Weeks, sometimes months if the client is out of state or whatnot. When you sit here and you're putting the design together, there's quite a few details that you're dealing with. For the homeowner, that can be kind of overwhelming. For you, do you like putting their mind at ease, letting them know that it seems like a lot going on, but you've been there, done that, this is what you do?
Absolutely. My clients aren't contractors, and so I have, I've worked with clients so long that I know what they, I don't want to give them an information dump. So it's very natural for me anymore. Whenever they call me up and we go into a design, I don't give them a design that is construction documents that I'm giving to the building department. Okay. I give them what my lead carpenters call pretty pictures. And hey, here is a complete design, but we're at this point, we're looking at the scope of the project, we're looking at the layout of the rooms, and we can make good decisions based on that. And then remodeling can be complex, so I try not to put too much at the feet of my clients. If I can, I'll say, whenever they need to go shopping for allowance items, I will create the shopping list for them. And I'll give them a list of wholesalers to go to that we have accounts at, and they can keep the discounts. And I'll try to organize it as much as possible for them, because I'm the one that's supposed to build it. So, my client's responsibility should be make decisions and write checks. And that's all they really have to do. Well,
about remodeling, it's probably going to be more complicated than you think. The Property Brothers make it look easy. It's not what you think when you start. We built a home before, but we'd never remodeled before. So this was an entirely different project. And picking out things, the way we work with Ted is that he did the construction work and he was there to guide us, but we had to pick out everything and buy everything and bring it together. And that was a bit of a challenge for us, and not being familiar with the Denver area, it was good that Ted was able to recommend places to go with.
Like you said, it's that relationship on the front end. They feel at ease with you. They trust you. I mean, you've been the go-to remodeler for many of these homeowners here. Some of them have come back multiple times. Is that a relationship that you value, that they actually have trusted you with yet another project? Absolutely. It means a lot to me. We're actually working for a client right now who we first worked for him in 1997. We came back 5 years later, and I'll never forget, he wanted me to do about $150,000 remodel. And we had about a 2-hour meeting. And what I recall about it was we were walking out to my truck, and he said, "Ted, you're my guy." He didn't even have a price from me yet. That amount of trust is huge for me.
And that's the kind of relationship I want with every client. I don't ever want a client to feel like they can't ask me a question, or that they wouldn't hire me again, God forbid. So I do get to know the family. Whenever I do the estimate, I write down the name of the kids and the pets. If a neighbor stops by, I write down their name. Because it is a relationship business. So these people rely on me to take care of them. It's a busy life for everybody. And so, we do end up creating relationships, and that is probably the best part.
These wooden windows were put in originally when the house was built in 1978. They were aluminum, and they were on the north side, and they were very cold. And putting in windows with the windows up above is a very specialized work. So however I came in contact with him, it was because he had a reputation for dealing with difficult, complex windows. So that he put that in 1997. And this project, which was a total rehab of the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the family room, was done in 2004.
That is excellent. I mean, not only do the clients recommend you, but you've been recommended throughout the years by many associations, part of the Dave Logan team, Angie's List, House, Home Advisors. You've been on the Best of Consumer News Television with us since 2016. Is this a reputation that you definitely strive to protect through each project?
Absolutely. And, it used to be maybe some of those contractors that weren't so good could fly under the radar, but there's a beautiful thing called the internet now. And all of the reviews that are placed on the internet, it makes it great for the good contractors, so that people can actually find us, they can know what we're like, and they can remodel with peace of mind. But I started out swinging a hammer, and I started out being taught by my father and grandfather how things are done. And, they instilled that pride of workmanship in me. So everything kind of flows from that. And, if someone didn't think my work was great, I would be embarrassed about it. So it's not just about reputation. It's the pride that I have.
Absolutely. Each project, and you've got generations that have basically handed that on to you. Let me ask you this, as far as some of the areas. Let's talk about some of the areas of the home that you're up to work on. Let's start off with really probably one of the busiest areas of a home, and that is the kitchen. I mean, that's a place where we are hanging out with our family. We're also even entertaining guests there. Is a kitchen something that really can show the shine of what you can design?
Yes, and it can, especially if it's a tough design, because sometimes we'll get into a strange space, and we have to keep plugging away until we get the perfect design done. But we always do so far, knock on wood. But there's a lot of things that we can incorporate in the kitchen, and so it's a gathering place. Once we remodel a kitchen, it is gorgeous, and so people who maybe didn't even have a lot of people over before, all of a sudden they're throwing parties, or people are kind of coming to their house for the Super Bowl, or and they like to show it off, but they feel more comfortable having people over, and so we can do it so much. We could sit here all day and talk about the different things we could do in a kitchen, but one of the things we want to do is make it where there's seating in there, so that people can gather there, they can get comfortable there. We do a lot of huge granite islands anymore, probably twice as big as what we used to do. And we'll put in the trash compactors or the ice makers, and 2 dishwashers. It depends on the scale, the level of home we're working on, but there are more products now than there were even 10 years ago. And, the sky's the limit. If someone wants, I had a client say, I want Julia Child's kitchen. This is dating me because this has been a while back. But, our kitchen was better than Julia Child's.
I mean, the kitchen has got to be one of the easiest places where people can kind of see an outdated house. And you walk in there, you see some cabinets that look this way. I mean, some of the amenities like you're talking about that you can incorporate in the kitchen anymore, where it's not only just beautiful, I mean, with an island of granite, it, but it's functional. Is that something that you really try to balance as you're putting a design together?
Yes, there's some fundamental rules that I use when I'm doing designing. I want space. If we have enough space in a kitchen, that's one of the key elements. I can't have a walkway less than 3 feet. I'd prefer 4 feet. And where I'm near a refrigerator, I need a little more space. There's, kind of basic rules about, the proximity of your kitchen sink and your cooktop or your range and your refrigerator. But those aren't hard and fast rules. And, you see a lot of kitchens that are badly designed because someone insisted that the sink be put underneath a window. Well, if I'm doing a kitchen design and I'm doing them almost daily, I will, of course, do one with the window, the sink under the window. But I just really, when I do a design, I will draw a kitchen, and I'll have all the walls that are going to stay there in place for that first kitchen design, and then I'll take and erase every cabinet, every fixture, everything, and start from scratch. And I design at least 3 kitchens. And, functionality is a must. But we can usually get a lot more than functionality. And, I'm designing one right now where one of the designs is we've got 2 islands in it. So there's a lot of different ways to achieve functionality, but also, maybe get enough seating or, utilize the space where someone walks in and we're trying for a wow factor. Someone's paying for a brand new kitchen. They want some wow factor, and we usually can deliver.
First time we'd used Ted and his company, we were quite happy with the initial conversations we had and some of the ideas he had for helping us redo the kitchen in particular, but other areas in the house. He was able to make it as easy as a remodel can be, let me put it that way. It's really nice to have a space that you're comfortable with, and I would say that the vision evolved as we went through the remodel, but the space we have now is very, very comfortable and very homey.
When you see the finished product now, was it what you envisioned, and did it exceed everything that you're hoping for?
It did, but particularly the kitchen. I love my new kitchen.
That is excellent. I mean, as we move into bathrooms, master bathrooms, most of us start our day in a master bathroom. Obviously, some of these master bathrooms you've been able to do would put a smile on anyone's face. These places they're gorgeous. Is this something that you're pretty pleased with what you're able to provide for folks if they have a vision of something great right off of their master bedroom?
Absolutely. And, we look at the space first. And again, I'll ask my clients, how do you use this bathroom? Yeah. And a lot of people are having us take out the tub if they don't have space for a tub and a shower, and we'll do just a shower, a nice walk-in shower with a bench, maybe a handheld next to the bench, and a couple of shampoo niches. And, if we have space, we can do some amazing things. If we don't have space, maybe we can move a bedroom wall, a spare bedroom. We're doing that on a job soon. It's pretty standard just to give them a bigger master bathroom. And, we do a lot of, depending on their budget, we do a lot of really fun things. We can do heated floor. We can do heated towel bars. We can do infinity drains. We can do his and her vanities. We can do a makeup area, a large walk-in shower, maybe a jacuzzi tub, you name it, we can do it if, as long as the budget is important, yes. And we have to meet that budget. We don't want to design the Taj Mahal if they'd rather, say, hey, and people, they ask me for advice. And if I see that they're trying to, I had a client that wanted to put $300,000 into a $400,000 home just last week, and I said, I think that you should rethink this. And in fact, if you did it, and I was very honest, I said I wouldn't do the project because I don't think it's in your best interest. And you would have to really convince me. So we dialed it in to get what they wanted. Sure. For a lot less money. So there's a practical side to it, but in the bathroom, if someone says I want all of this stuff, I will usually I'll give them an idea what they're facing, but then we'll quote it, and then If it's too much, we'll just dial it back a little bit.
I mean, these aren't our parents' master bathrooms. These are amazing bathrooms that I walked into this morning that you designed, which is beautiful. Here in Colorado, the real estate market is obviously very hot. People are trying to get the best bang for their dollar, trying to use up every square foot of their home. What better way than a basement? Many of these places have basements. Is that projects that you enjoy going in and renovating?
Yeah, basements are kind of fun because usually there's nothing down there. And so, again, first step is, okay, how are you going to use the space? And, more and more we're having folks, create a space for mom or dad in our aging population. And so we get a lot of calls for that. And so we're putting in more kitchenettes than we used to. And it is a lot of fun. And the technology allows us to do a little more with the home theaters. And it's kind of fun to draw a basement because the more space I have to work with, the more I can configure different designs. But we do quite a bit of those.
When it comes to a basement, I mean, we see this as an extension of the home. It's no longer a place you just throw the kids down there. This is a place where we can entertain. You've got theaters down there, playrooms down there, game rooms. I imagine a basement can be one of the most popular places for the family to hang out. Is that what you have found out after you've put some together for folks?
Depends on what the rest of the house looks like. A lot of times, by the time they call us in to do a basement, maybe the house is 20 years old and they haven't remodeled any other place in the house. And so we'll come in and we'll make the basement amazing and it's all brand new. So, then people will do, thumb wars over who gets the bedroom down there. If we're doing a theater room or a pool table room or exercise room or, an office or something like that, it's all brand new. And, and again, it's my clients are now saying, this is what I want. Because it's not my design. I will give them at least 3 designs and I'll say, tell me what you like or don't like. And then we'll put a 4th design together that hopefully brings in all of the elements. And so now they have said, this is what I want down in my own basement. And then they get to pick all the finishes as well. So, it fits their needs to a T because we had enough space to just start with in the beginning and, give them whatever bedroom or kitchenette or whatever they wanted down there.
That is excellent.
I'd recommend Apple for several reasons. The main thing is, just the quality work that they do. And one other kind of side thing is when you're doing a big remodel like this, you usually have to work with an architect. And with Apple, you don't need an architect. So once we heard that, that saved us a ton of money right there. So the fact that we didn't have to work with an architect and he could do everything on his own, it made things a lot more streamlined too. So that was a huge thing in my book. And then other than that, just the communication, like it was an open channel. Like if we had concerns, he would address them, and he'd take them seriously.
Let me ask you this, Ted. You've got people out there that are looking to do a remodel. They're obviously wading through a lot of general contractors out there, deciding who is the best, who to work with. How important do you think it is for people to align themselves with a local, someone who is proud of their work and also willing to back it up? Come back and check it out maybe a year later and back it up with a 3-time warranty that, most companies don't do that.
When you choose a contractor and people who have done a lot of remodeling in the past and hired contractors, they will tell me this. They learned it the hard way sometimes. Who you choose as a general contractor is job one. That drives the bus. Everything will flow from there. And so it's key that you choose a good contractor. Obviously not all contractors are in business running a legitimate business. They jump in and out depending on the economy, or they just decided to hang a shingle because they got tired of working for somebody else. But they miss the important part of being a contractor, which is you're running a business, and your clients are depending on you being able to run a business, not just being able to swing a hammer. So that's a key part of doing any renovation if you're going to hire it out, is choosing the right contractor. As far as backing up your work, if you do really high quality work, it really doesn't matter what your warranty is, because if you take that level of pride, and we do, if someone calls, and I had someone call me not long ago, and they said it looked like there was a small gap between their crown molding in their kitchen and the ceiling, and he wasn't too worried about it. So about an hour later, I was at his house, and because I'm worried about it,
right.
And so I don't know if it was a little bit of his house settling or what, but I said I'll get somebody right over here, and he said, "Well, I'm leaving town. Can you do it next week?" And we did. But that kind of pride, kind of reputation, and really appreciation for your clients, because they're spending their hard-earned money on us. I think if you get the right company, you'll be in good shape, and if you don't get the right company, there's a lot of fly-by-nights out there, like any industry probably.
You've been trusted with projects from $30,000 up to really 10 times that amount. Your clients trust you. You basically have family here. You're serving the community. Does this continue to be rewarding for you as you go into the future and basically third generation builder?
Yeah, I'll be doing this for a while, probably, for as long as I can. And we've already done 1,200 projects, but it doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't. I don't know how many I've got in me still, but probably another 1,200. It's funny because I'm starting I have already worked for the children on a couple of projects I worked for their parents long ago. So it's kind of cool whenever we get called, and if we've already worked for someone or their friends or relatives, it's like old home week when I show up, because there's nobody, they're not calling anybody else. And, it's that trust factor again. And it's just, it's really nice, to be in that situation. And I know every time we have a new client call and I go visit them, I kind of assume we're doing work for them for the next 20 years. And, that's the way I approach it. And that way people really appreciate whenever I do an estimate and they haven't met me before. I'll just sit down and, I'll tell them anything they want to know exactly like it is, and give them real timely information so that they're not wasting their time. It works out quite well.
Basically, his character. He likes people. He has high standards for himself, and he aims to please. And he's consistent. But he likes people. And he's been in the business so long, he's built up so many relationships. He's got great carpenters. I was introduced to the tile people yesterday, and they're very good. They're very good.
That is excellent. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is their website. On the website, you can take a look at the different services they provide right there for you. We touched on kitchens, bathrooms, master bathrooms, as well as basements. They can do additions for you, pop-ups, you name it. This is an organization that began back in 1983, but basically the founder and owner was raised in the building business. He himself has swung a hammer before, but now is basically learned the business side of it, and comes to the conclusion that it's about relationships. He's built relationships across the board with homeowners across Denver as well as Colorado. This is Apple Remodeling since 1983, helping you love where you live. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.